Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we are going to add the leaves over here. And we will, I'll just demo it here. Now, just before we add, I add this just to show you. When I got to this part down here, you see that I didn't put dark in here because I didn't want to deal with that dark. See how light it is? This like a fluffy, light color in here. There's none of this dark right there. Okay, so for this part right now, the dark part, I'm going to use sap green and cadmium red light. Any cadmium red will do, or any red will do. You have just to make your sap green dark, and it adds that nice kind of red brown color in it. And with the corner of my brush, all I'm going to do, you could go this way, but you can do this. Turn your brush around, and you don't really have to show any kind of, it doesn't have to look like a leaf at this point. This is just a base. It's a background. It has nothing to do with the shape of the leaf. The only time you want to show the shape of the leaf is when you are highlighting. But and even if you go over too many, you know, like you let's say you block it completely and you don't see the wall. And you see here, I left some of the wall showing through. But even if you don't, even if you just block the whole thing, it's okay, because we can get the color of the wall and then we'll do a negative painting and we'll open up all this.
So these leaves that we have drawn on from the original pattern, we don't have to put this exactly inside them. We're going to just cover the whole area, kind of.
Yeah, but you see, when we had the drawing, if you have the drawing of the original, you will see in there are openings in that drawing. That's what I did. So I avoided some of these openings and I kept them. I kept the wall showing.
Okay.
Okay. But I just ignored any kind of detail.
Okay, because I have a lot more open space between my leaves.
Oh, you can adjust that. You can adjust that. You know, as soon as you put the color, you start putting the color, you can see how dense, how wide, how I adjusted mine too. I made those openings smaller, and I adjusted here. I brought this out more. So this was before. It was the same color right here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now, the most important part is not the color, what you're doing here, is the shape that you're creating around what you're doing here. The shape of the leaves, the edge, that's what's important. So you want to keep an eye on that. So when you start putting your brush stroke, your color, try to stop and watch what you're doing. So don't go too fast, take your time. So instead of doing this, and that's what we kind of.
Have you been watching me?
Yeah, I think she's been watching us all. She's like Mr. Google, she watches us.
This is because I do that, because once you start, especially when you get bored, you start doing this. You really start doing these things, and keep your brush wet. If you can just use, keep the paint wet. Watching me. So, and when you get to, so this is okay. So this is the corner. This is this corner right there. I am not concerned. My brush strokes are wider. I'm covering more. I am okay. I'm doing this, kind of like I'm covering more area. Okay. But now I'm going to slow down when I get to the edge, because I'm going to make sure that I am not going over too much, so I can leave some room for highlights. And the edge is not all kind of like this. You don't want your edge to be like this, all on the same, like that. So you want to make sure that your edge is staggered. Is that what you say? How you say it?
Yeah.
Right?
Random.
Brandon?
I don't know.
It
Not
has
sure.
I don't know what the technical term is, but if you know what I mean, that's the message is reached. So when I get to the edge, I'm gonna turn my brush around, and now I'm going to go slower. Watch what I'm doing the whole time. Watch what you're doing. You know, watch where you're getting as far as shape. It should look natural, fluffy. It shouldn't end on a kind of the same, shouldn't have a circle. Organic.
And the paint will be thick the whole time?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Okay.
But because I'm putting water in it, it's going to cover, right? So you're not going to see a lot of that. You see it? White little. These are useless, those whites, but because we're going to highlight over, it doesn't matter. We're going to put another layer over that. So this is the first layer. And even if you, let's say you go over this and personally, just this part, just keep an eye on this part. The rest is okay. It's just this part, you will have to mix. If you go over it in too much, then you'll have to mix the color of the window and then go over to fix all of that, all of the edges and the green here. But the rest of the wall, if you go over it and it's too much, it's okay. We can get the color of the wall and then open up those leaves. So no problem here. Is that okay?
Mhm.
Is it clear, or would you
Yeah.
like, is that good? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna put some light over this so you can see. So right now, I really can't do anything more at that point. I'd rather not to, because I want to keep some room for my mid-tone and highlights.
So that area at the top, just to be sure, you've got it lighter, but it was dark to start with underneath, right? That's over.
Don't
the
worry
top.
about the light. Don't worry about the light. Just work with black, with dark right now.
Okay, so it was dark there, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Just now, no light, no mid-tones, nothing. Just dark.
Okay.
Okay. So even if I'm darkening the bottom part, the darks I'm doing at the bottom are really kind of small, really small and fluffy. And that's it. That's all. You don't need more than that. You don't need to do more than that. Because we have many layers to come. So we need to have room for all those layers.
Leah, can I see the whole thing? Because you've gone underneath the window as well. I just want to see how much you're putting. Okay.
Now for midtones, what we're going to do is take yellow ochre. That's yellow ochre in here. Put it in sap green.
No red?
No red. And I'm going to come here. And again, still, I'm not concerned about the shape. I just want to put a nice, the shape of the, I'm not concerned about the shape of the leaf, not the shape of where I'm putting those colors, the shape of the leaf.
Are you using a smaller brush than before?
Yeah, no, it's, yeah, sorry, yes.
Looks a bit
I
skinnier.
grabbed the wrong brush, but that's okay. Doesn't matter, even the same brush is fine. I think I'm gonna switch back. I'll switch back. Thanks, I didn't really realize that this is what I did. Okay, let's take that. Same. All right. I don't want to cover everything, like all of the darks, but just, you know, darks are harsh. But those darks, what they are, they show depth. It looks like there is a leaf, there are leaves behind those midtones I'm putting in there, and they're behind in the shadow, in the area that is more shadow. There's more shadow in there. All right. Turn my brush around. And already you can see the softness of the color. You can see how soft this color is. The mid-tone. It takes away harsh, dark colors that we have.
So are you leaving some areas darker, or are you just, you know, covering everything?
I am leaving some areas darker. Can you see it? It's,
Okay. Yep.
oops. I don't know if you can see that this area here looks too dark, but it's not that dark. It has some of that highlight, mid-tone. I'm gonna put this next to it. I don't know if you can see it. Oh no, I can't. Right. So in this area here, I have we have a bit of more yellow ochre showing. So that where the dark is, I'm going to take a bit of yellow ochre in here. I still have yellow, green on my brush, but I'm taking more yellow in here. Yellow ochre. Oh, you can see it. Good. Okay. Maybe I should wait a bit before I get to this point, right? Shall I just wait for
Please,
you?
please.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, so now we're going to take sap green and let's put some yellow ochre in it. don't go too light, just enough for you to see it from, like, it's just light enough. Oh, we need more. Try it. That's what I'm doing. I try over the medium tone. Okay, let's can go a little bit lighter. So what I'm doing is I'm trying right now to make sure that all of my layers before I start the strong highlight are there. My highlights, my values, my slow change of my values from dark to light. So now, because I am highlighting, I'm going to pay more attention to the shape of my leaf. Put some water in
So
here.
are your leaves small or large? Because in the original painting, they were large.
No, they're smaller now. Some of them are large and some of them are, but they're smaller. Yes, they are. Kind of. Yes, smaller. They're not the same shape like the ones in the original. I'm more concerned about the shape I'm creating and the density of the leaves more than anything else. The shape of the leaf and what kind of leaf it is, what kind of tree, it doesn't really, I'm not concerned about that. I just want to make sure that whatever I'm putting right now looks good. The shape of what I'm creating as far as shape, not the shape of the leaf, the shape of the whole thing.
And this layer is just adding more yellow ochre to the green.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, more yellow ochre to your sap green.
Yours looks more whitish than mine's gonna look, I think.
No, it's yellow. It's yellow.
It's yellow. Okay.
Yes, it's yellow. It's like an ochre, earth tone yellow. Because when you put ochre, yellow ochre with your sap green, you're gonna get a yellow, an earth tone yellow. All right, I'm gonna move my canvas. Okay, that's enough. Now we after this stage, we need to start highlighting properly. Right, so now I'm introducing a bit more of the yellow ochre. It's just because with acrylics, when it dries darker. So it's starting to blend. Whatever I put there with the yellow ochre before, it's blending with the medium tone. So I'm just adding, highlighting and adding more yellow ochre in my green. At this point, I'm starting to soften the darks coming out in this part, the branch that's coming out. Because eventually this is going to be highlighted enough to make it look like it's this is receding and this is a branch that's closer to us. Okay, we're good for now. Right, now we're going to highlight with cadmium yellow light. So I have my sap green. I'm going to put some here. You can take either yellow ochre or red to tone down your sap green and make it more earthy. And then cadmium yellow light. Now, I switched to a smaller brush because I'm highlighting. So I want to make sure that, you know, I have control over the size of the highlight. I'll wipe my brush because I'm mixing and there's a lot of paint in here and when I mix. And now I'm going to be careful. Try to be careful with my highlights. So the more I come out into the window, the smaller my leaves are going to be. I think I can go lighter because this is going to dry darker. Okay, see, that's much better because now I can see what I'm doing. I can see the highlight. It's a strong, beautiful. There's light in here in this area. So this highlight is going to create a shape, and this is where I'm keeping an eye on it. I'm squinting to see the general shape, and I don't want to see leaves kind of. I don't want to be distracted by the shape of the leaves. I just want to see the whole shape of what I am doing here, what I'm highlighting. I'm gonna put some, you can see the top part, good. So I'm gonna put some highlights up here. More red in my green. Just enjoy the process and don't stress over it. Whatever you do, it can be fixed. If you're not happy about it, you can go back and fix it. So that will, if you think that way, you'll enjoy it more. See those highlighted, they look like they're floating and they're closer to us. So I'm going to continue to the bottom part. And meanwhile, now I'm getting to this point here. And what I'm doing is this part is not as highlighted as these. So the small ones that you see in here, the strong highlight, are the smaller ones. So this is just a preparation to get to that stage. Okay. This is right here is different than this color in here. So this is darker, slightly darker. Now, I'm going to increase the amount of yellow in my green. Just making sure that the shape I'm doing is the right shape. You know, so general shape, not the shape of the leaf. When I say shape, it's not the shape of the leaf. It's in general. This is moving nice and fluffy. I'm gonna put a couple that are floating. All right, good. So nice movement. Again, same here. Go out a bit. It's getting too condensed in there, but that's okay. I can always use the color of the wall to open up and change the shape a bit. But if I can do right now, make sure that, okay, I don't want to overdo it. That's getting too heavy in here. Way too heavy. That's okay. I'll use the color of the wall and do some negative painting. Okay. That's enough. So I'm going to change the shape of this, just make it fluffier. It's heavy right now, too heavy. So what I did is I mixed yellow ochre and cadmium red light. So I'm getting the color of the wall, kind of. And I'm going to go in and open up a bit. I'm doing negative painting right now to reshape. reshape and make it less heavy. Okay, more yellow ochre, cadmium yellow light, cadmium red light, sorry, cadmium red light. Go in. I'm using the corner of my brush. I will switch to a round soon, so I can go into those little details right now. Oh, it's already looking better.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
It's around. Oh yeah, much, much better. Okay. I take, I'm just putting a bit of green in here right now, sap green, and softening this. There's a strong dark in here. Let's keep on fixing this wall. Or actually not the wall, it's fixing the actual green shape of the green here. Okay, so this is too narrow right now, and this is too heavy. So I can adjust that after. All right, I take a bit of yellow and more yellow. this one turned out to be too light. I'm going to go back and darken it. Make it orange. I like the orange with the green. That's much better. Okay, I'm going to take a bit of green right now in the smaller brush. Red, green, and yellow. Wipe my brush. And right here where I overdid it with the wall, I'm going to put some green in there, just a bit. And it's not a highlighted green, it's a medium tone green. That's better. I still would like to go in with the color of the wall. So round brush and clean up. That's yellow ochre, cadmium yellow light. Get in there. Mix the color of the wall, the dark color of the wall, and clean my brush. And get in there and clean up a bit. Especially where I have the darks, the very dark green in there. And make it more cleaner. Even if I put a little kind of dot in there, that's more than enough sometimes. If I need to go in and soften some areas and open up a bit, if it's too condensed, too strong, if the green is too much. Now I'm going to take red, just red. Put tiny dots of reds in there, here and there, just kind of, and that will tie in with the red that I have on the window sill.
Like pure red?
Pure red. Small brush, pure red. Just put it in there. It is beautiful. Pure red. I can put at this point, take a smaller brush, round, small brush, and let's see, green, red, make a brownish color. Clean my brush. Put enough water on your brush so when you make a line like this, that's because there's enough water on my in my color. My color is not going to blob. So I'm going to come here, try to put a suggestion of a twig. It makes it much more interesting when you see those. All right. Whatever you have, if you have too much wall, just add those fine lines.
What do you mean add fine lines?
Those, you know, if you have like a big blob of wall in between.
Yeah. Oh,
Add-
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. It just makes it more interesting. You don't have to do anything. It just it's there and it looks nice. Okay. Good. Okay, so I'm just saying it. What I'm doing right now is I'm adjusting the highlights, the value. So when I looked at it, this area was a bit too highlighted, condensed here, like too much highlight in one area. So I went into a medium tone, kind of medium highlight, and I am softening and opening up some areas. All of these values will decide the shape of the leaves. So if you squint and you look at the highlights only, you can see how the movement of the highlight is going. Kind of. Closer to the window, more highlights. Closer to the window. Away from the window, darker.